Hey buddy, Mitch Deskis here. About to show you my squat warm-up routine that allows you to become a world champion. First thing I do is I do a foam roll. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay on the ground. What I like to do, most people are different, but I like to go one leg at a time. So I'm gonna roll out my glute, just your butt, and roll that out, and usually do about 10 rolls. And then what I'm doing, I'm gonna go ahead and get that hamstring as well. Like I said, most people, they do it a different way. They'll do one leg at a time, or they do both, but my preference is one leg. After I do that, I feel warm, I'm gonna go to the side. Now, for those who've never done a foam roll, it's gonna hurt like a bitch, okay? This is gonna be our IT band right here. This is gonna allow us not to have any knee issues when we squat. The IT band runs from our hip all the way down to our knee. So we're gonna make sure we roll that plenty good. All right, now we're gonna go that other side. So as y'all see, this is the gym I train at. Y'all can probably hear Johnny Big Rig Hendricks talking. They're about to do some warm-ups. I think they're about to get in the cage and do some sparring. It's pretty cool, the gym that I train out of. We have a lot of good talent, not just trainer-wise, but with the UFC MMA team that we have as well. So I'm going to get that nice and deep. I normally go until it doesn't hurt anymore. So, okay. Normally, what I do after this, I go into some static stretching. Normally what I do, famous, you know, that camera on me. I'm gonna put that leg right in front. I'm gonna try to keep it parallel with my body. Perpendicular, I mean. I'm gonna have that toe on the backside pointing straight back. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lean over just slightly till it's comfortable. I'm gonna take deep breaths. Try to go down even more. Focus on that. Usually hold that for about one minute. But for the demonstration, I'm not gonna do the full minute. I'm gonna go ahead and stretch. So this is really good for our hip flexors. Normally people who squat really heavy, they have a tendency to have very tight hip flexors. So again, with the foam rolling, that allows us to break up the myofascious tissue, allowing us to get down and stretch out those hip flexors. So I can do that one. Normally what I'll do, I'll go straight to a butterfly. So we want to bring those feet in as far as we can. As far as we can. Then we want to press those elbows down onto our calves while we're still pressing in. So we're going to stretch our glutes out. I do have a sweet hole in my, oh my gosh. Don't mind that. So normally I hold that for about 1 minute or so. Just really trying to press down. Every time I exhale, I try to press down just a little bit harder. Feeling that stretch. After that, lay on my back. Bring one leg up. Again, I'm just trying to stretch that hip flexor out. I'm trying to stretch my glute. It's going to allow me to get down to parallel on my squat. So for those that go straight into squatting without stretching, I can promise you, you're not going down all the way, and you're probably having a lot of trouble getting down. So normally hold this for about a minute on each side. So again, every time I'm exhaling, I'm trying to hold that a little bit tighter each time. Trying to keep that leg straight. All right, so what I'm gonna do now. Knowing what I do, before I do anything is I like to put my fingers, my pinkies on these grooves. I'm gonna get a little wider than shoulder width. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down into it and I'm gonna rock back and forth. I'm gonna help open up my hip flexors even more. Try to get that mobility.
Just feel it. Just feel it.
Just feeling it out. So I'll probably do this for about a minute as well. Again, that warm-up's the most important part. For those that keep skipping out on that, I'm telling you, you're not allowing yourself to get that full range of motion and working the muscles properly. So again, do that for about a minute. After that, we then go into our warm-up. I always warm up with the bar. You see how heavy I go, but it's all about progression. So I'm always warming up the bar. Then I go to 135, which is one plate on each side, 225, and so on and so forth. So what you want to do is you want to keep those hands as close to you as possible. It's going to allow our body to keep tight, allowing us to keep our core engaged, our lats. That way we can lift up heavy amounts of weight. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get underneath the bar. Now, most people like to put the bar up high. That's going to put a lot of strain on our neck. So what you want to do is we're going to try to put that underneath those traps and see how I have that little spot perfectly underneath my traps and my shoulder blades. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to lift straight up. I'm going to get that shoulder width apart. Normally what I do is I like to pull my toes out slightly. It's going to allow my knees to go out. Most people have a tendency when they come in, when the weight gets too heavy, their knees start to collapse. So, point those toes out, allowing those knees to go out. So that way, when we get heavy, we don't tend to collapse in. So we'll do is take that deep breath, squat in, and we're going on our heels. So you want to get back on those heels. I'm going to sit on that. And what I do is I like to sit down here for about 5 seconds, still allowing my hips to open up. And I'm going to slow back up. Again, all the weight is on my heels. I want to make sure that the weight's on the heels and not the front of the foot. That's the reason why people have those knee issues, because when they come down, they're leaning forward, strains on their back, and they're on top, noticing my knees are coming forward versus sitting back like I was, heels pushing through the heels. So I would say focus on the warm-up. Warm-up's the most important part. It's going to allow your body to get down to parallel. Because if we're not getting down to parallel, guys, we're not working the quads, hamstrings, and the glutes. It's the most important part. Focus on the form. The weight will come. Set the ego aside and get the job done. Thanks.